I thought she loved me. Until I found out she was dating other guys for money, the rain catches us both by surprise. I watch her from across the cafe as she stares out the window, her fingers wrapped around a coffee cup that's gone cold. The storm arrived without warning, turning the late afternoon into something intimate and electric. She hasn't noticed me yet, hasn't seen me standing here in the doorway, water dripping from my jacket, my heart hammering against my ribs. 3 months. 3 months since I walked away from her without a word, and now here she is. Alone. The universe has a cruel sense of humor. James? Her voice cuts through the ambient chatter, soft and surprised. Those green eyes find mine across the crowded space, and suddenly the cafe disappears. It's just us, suspended in this moment that feels stolen from time itself. I should leave. I should turn around and walk back into the rain, let her become a memory I can finally bury. Instead, I find myself crossing the room toward her table, my feet moving with a will of their own. Maya. Her name tastes like honey and heartbreak on my tongue. She gestures to the empty chair across from her, a tentative smile playing at the corners of her mouth. The storm came out of nowhere. It did. I sit down, acutely aware of the space between us, close enough to catch the faint scent of her perfume, that same jasmine and vanilla that used to cling to my pillows. Far enough that I can pretend my hands aren't shaking. You look... She pauses, her gaze traveling over my face like she's memorizing it all over again. Different. 3 months will do that. The words come out sharper than I intended, but I don't take them back. Something flickers in her eyes, hurt maybe, or recognition. She looks down at her hands, those slender fingers I used to trace in the darkness, mapping every line like they held the secrets of the universe. I didn't expect to see you here, she says quietly. Our old place. I lean back in my chair, trying to create distance that doesn't exist. You always said the coffee here was terrible. A laugh escapes her, soft and breathless. It is terrible, but the memories... She trails off, meeting my eyes again. Some things are worth the bad coffee. The silence stretches between us, heavy with everything we're not saying. Outside, thunder rolls across the sky, and the lights in the cafe flicker. Once. Twice. Several patrons glance up nervously, but I can't look away from her face. James, don't! The word comes out harsher than I mean it to. Whatever you're going to say, don't. But she leans forward anyway, her hand moving across the small table until her fingers are almost touching mine. Almost. You deserve to know the truth. I know the truth. My voice is barely above a whisper now. I saw you with him, Maya. With them. Her face goes pale, and for a moment she looks like she might flee. Then something changes in her expression. A hardening, a decision being made in real time. Then you know I was never really yours. The admission hits me like a physical blow, even though I've known it for months. Hearing her say it, seeing the honesty in her eyes, makes it real in a way that all my late-night overthinking never could. No, I agree, surprised by how steady my voice sounds. But I wanted to be yours. Her breath catches. Her fingers move, that last inch, brushing against mine with the lightest touch. The contact sends electricity shooting up my arm, and I hate how my body still responds to her like this, how she still has this power over me. I wanted that too, she whispers. More than you know. But wanting and doing are different things. I don't pull my hand away, even though I should. Even though this is dangerous territory, this place where hope lives alongside heartbreak. Yes. Her thumb traces across my knuckles, a touch so gentle, it might be imagined. They are. Lightning illuminates the cafe in stark black and white, and in that moment I see her clearly. Not the woman who broke my heart, not the stranger who took money for affection, Just Maya, complicated, beautiful, and looking at me like I'm the only person in the world. The rain's not stopping, she observes, though neither of us has looked. Outside in the last 10 minutes. No, it's not. Another crack of thunder shakes the building, and the lights go out completely this time. Emergency lighting kicks in, casting everything in a warm, golden glow that makes her skin look like silk. I guess we're stuck here, she says. But she's still touching my hand, still looking at me with those eyes that used to make me believe in forever. I guess we are. And despite everything, despite the lies, the other men, the money that passed between hands, I find myself hoping the storm never ends. The emergency lighting casts dancing shadows across her face as other patrons file out into the storm, braving the rain rather than waiting in the darkness. The cafe owner disappeared into the back 20 minutes ago, leaving us essentially alone in this intimate golden cocoon. Do you remember? Maya says softly, her finger still tracing lazy circles on the back of my hand. The night we got caught in the rain outside your apartment? I remember everything. That's the problem. You made me coffee that was somehow worse than this place. I gesture around the nearly empty cafe. And you wore my sweater because your dress was soaked. It was too big. Her smile is soft, nostalgic. I felt like I was drowning in it. You looked perfect. The words slip out before I can stop them, raw and honest in the dim light. She draws in a sharp breath, and I feel the moment shift between us. This is dangerous ground. This territory where memory meets present tense, where the ghost of who we used to be bleeds into who we are now. James? She leans closer, and I catch that scent again, stronger now. It makes me dizzy. That night, when you held me while we waited for my clothes to dry, I almost told you. Told me what? That I was falling in love with you. Her voice drops to barely above a whisper. That I wanted to stop everything else, everyone else, and just be yours. The confession hits me square in the chest. I pull my hand back, needing space, needing to think clearly. But she follows the movement, sliding around the small table until she's sitting beside me instead of across from me. Don't, I warn, but my voice lacks conviction. Don't what? She's close enough now that I can. Feel her warmth, close enough that I could count her eyelashes if I wanted to torture myself. Don't tell you the truth? Don't admit that walking away from you was the hardest thing I've ever done? You didn't walk away. I turn to face her fully, and the movement brings us even closer. I did. Because I had to. Because you saw me with... Marcus! The name hangs in the air between us like a curse. Marcus, the silver-haired businessman who drove the Tesla, who took her to restaurants where the wine cost more than my rent. One of many, but the one who made it real for me. Because I finally understood what I was to you. I can't keep the bitterness out of my voice entirely. Entertainment between appointments. Her hand moves to my face, fingers trailing along my jaw with a touch so gentle it makes my chest ache. You were never that. Then what was I? You were the one who made me forget. Her thumb brushes across my lower lip, and I have to fight not to close my eyes. When I was with you, I forgot about the money, the arrangements, the performance, of it all. You made me feel like Maya, not like a commodity. The honesty in her voice is devastating. This close, in this light, she's exactly as beautiful as she was 3 months ago, but there's something different now. A vulnerability that wasn't there before. A rawness that makes her seem more real somehow. If that's true, I say carefully, then why didn't you stop? She's quiet for a long moment, her hand still cradling my face. When she speaks, her voice is barely audible over the rain against the windows. Because I was afraid. Of what? Of you. Her eyes search mine, desperate for understanding. Of how you made me feel, of what I might become if I let myself want you completely. I should push her away. I should stand up, walk out into the storm, let this end before it begins again. Instead, I find myself leaning into her touch, my hand covering hers where it rests against my cheek. And what would you have become? Someone who believed she deserved love without conditions. A single tear slides down her cheek, catching the golden light. Someone who might have been worthy of you. The words break something open in my chest. Without thinking, I brush the tear away with my thumb, my hand lingering against her skin. She leans into the touch, her eyes fluttering closed. Maya? I know. She opens her eyes, and they're bright with unshed tears. I know it's too late. I know I lost you the moment you saw me with him. But sitting here now, feeling your hands on me again, don't. But she's already moving closer, her forehead almost touching mine. I can't help but wonder what would have happened if I'd been braver, if I'd chosen you from the beginning. The space between us disappears entirely. I can feel her breath against my lips, warm and shaky. Her hand slides from my cheek to the back of my neck, fingers tangling in my hair. We can't, I whisper, even as everything in me wants to close that last inch. I know, she whispers back. But God, James, I want to. Thunder crashes overhead, and in the sudden silence that follows, I make a decision that will change everything. Then show me. The words leave my lips before my brain can catch up, and I see Maya's eyes widen in surprise. The air between us crackles with possibility, with the weight of a choice that can't be undone. James, she breathes, my name like a prayer on her lips. Show me, I repeat, my hand still cupping her face, thumb tracing the elegant line of her cheekbone. Show me what would have happened if you'd been braver. For a heartbeat, she's perfectly still. Then her lips brush against mine, tentative and soft, like she's afraid I might disappear. The kiss is nothing like the passionate embraces we used to share. It's careful, questioning, full of everything we've left unsaid. I taste her sigh against my mouth as I kiss her back, my free hand finding her waist, pulling her closer on the worn cafe bench. She melts against me, her body remembering the shape of mine, even after all this time apart. I missed this, she whispers against my lips, and I can hear the tears in her voice. I missed you so much it felt like dying. Maya. I rest my forehead against hers, trying to catch my breath, trying to think past the way she feels in my arms again. What are we doing? I don't know. Her fingers trace the line of my jaw, exploring like she's memorizing me all over again. I just know that when I saw you walk through that door, everything else stopped mattering. Outside, the storm rages on, but in here, in this golden bubble of emergency lighting and possibility, time has stopped. I can feel her heartbeat against my chest, quick and nervous, matching my own. The others, I say, because I have to, because this can't go further without honesty. Are you still? No. The word comes out fierce and immediate. I stopped. 3 weeks after you left, I stopped everything. I pull back to look at her, searching her eyes for the truth. Why? A laugh escapes her, shaky and raw. Because every time one of them touched me, all I could think about was you. Because I finally understood what you meant when you said love shouldn't have a price tag. Her confession hits me like a physical blow. All those nights I spent wondering if she ever thought about me, if I meant anything at all beyond a pleasant distraction. All those mornings I woke up alone and wondered if she was waking up beside someone else. 3 weeks, I repeat quietly. 22 days. She's not looking at me now, her gaze fixed on her hands in her lap. I counted. Every morning I woke up and thought about calling you, and every night I convinced myself I didn't deserve to. I hook a finger under her chin, lifting her face until she meets my eyes. And now? Now I think maybe deserving has nothing to do with it. She covers my hand with both of hers, pressing it against her cheek. Maybe it's about choosing instead of hiding. Maybe it's about being brave enough to want what you want, even if it terrifies you. The vulnerability in her voice undoes me completely. This is the Maya I fell in love with. Not the polished, untouchable woman she became for others, but this real, flawed, beautiful person who's looking at me like I hold her entire world in my hands. I want you, she says simply. Not your money, not your status, not what you can do for me. Just you. The way you make me laugh, the way you listen to me talk about my dreams, the way you touch me like I'm something precious instead of something purchased. My breath catches. Maya, I love you. The words tumble out in a rush, desperate and honest. I loved you then, and I love you now. And I've been dying these past 3 months pretending that wasn't true. The confession hangs between us, raw and perfect, and terrifying. I can see the fear in her eyes, the way she's braced for rejection, for me to stand up and walk away again. Instead, I kiss her. This time it's not careful or questioning. This time I pour everything into it. 3 months of missing her, of loving her, of lying awake at night replaying every moment we shared. She gasps against my mouth and kisses me back with equal desperation, her hands fisting in my shirt like she's afraid I'll disappear. I love you too, I whisper against her lips, and she makes a sound that's half sob, half laugh. God, Maya, I never stopped. Her arms wind around my neck, pulling me closer, and I lose myself in the taste of her, the feel of her, finally in my arms again where she belongs. We're both crying now, salt mixing with sweetness, 3 months of heartbreak dissolving into something like hope. The cafe owner's voice drifts from the back room, something about the power coming back on soon. But neither of us moves. We stay locked in this embrace, holding on to each other and this moment like it's the last thing in the world, because maybe it is. Maybe tomorrow will bring reality crashing back down, complications and consequences we haven't considered. But right now, in the golden darkness of this storm-bound cafe, we have this. We have each other, and for the first time in 3 months, that feels like enough. Come home with me. The words leave my lips as the lights flicker back to life, harsh fluorescence replacing the intimate golden glow of the emergency lighting. Maya blinks in the sudden brightness, her hand still tangled in my shirt, her lips swollen from our kisses. James. She searches my face, looking for something I'm not sure I can give her. Certainty, maybe. Promises I'm not ready to make. Not for what you think. I brush a strand of hair from her face, my thumb lingering at her temple. Just come home with me. Let me make you terrible coffee and give you a sweater that's too big. Let me hold you while we figure out what this means. She's quiet for a long moment, and I can see the war playing out in her expression. Fear and want, hope and self-preservation. The rain has gentled to a steady patter against the windows, no longer the dramatic storm that trapped us here together. Okay, she says finally, so softly I almost miss it. Yes. The taxi ride to my apartment passes in charged silence. Her hand rests on the seat between us, fingers curled just shy of touching mine. Every bump in the road shifts us closer together, her thigh brushing against mine, and I have to fight the urge to pull her against me right here in the back seat. She pays the driver before I can protest, and I catch the irony. 3 months ago, that simple gesture would have sent me spiraling. Now it just feels like Maya taking care of something small so we can focus on the bigger thing waiting for us upstairs. Apartment looks smaller with her in it. She stands in the doorway, taking in the changes, the photos of us I finally took down, the books I bought to fill the empty spaces, the new lamp I purchased because the old one reminded me too much of quiet evenings spent reading together. You redecorated, she observes, her voice carefully neutral. I tried to erase you, I admit. It didn't work. She turns to face me, and the honesty in my voice makes her breath catch. Good, she says simply. I'm glad it didn't work. I move to the kitchen, needing something to do with my hands, some normal domestic task to ground us both. But as I reach for the coffee maker, her arms slide around my waist from behind, her face pressing against my back. Don't, she whispers. Don't hide in tasks. Not now. I turn in her arms, and she doesn't step back. We're close enough that I can see the flecks of gold in her green eyes, close enough that her breath mingles with mine. The air between us feels electric, charged with everything we want and everything we're afraid to take. Maya. Her name is a question and a plea. I know we can't go back, she says, her hands resting flat against my chest, right over my heart. I know too much has happened, too much trust has been broken. But maybe we can go forward. Maybe we can build something new. What would that look like? I cover her hands with mine, feeling the steady rhythm of my pulse against her palms. Honest. She steps closer, eliminating the last inch of space between us. Whatever this is, whatever we become, it has to be honest. No more secrets, no more lies, no more other people. Just us. Just us. She rises on her tiptoes, her lips brushing against mine as she speaks. All of me. All of you. Everything we are and everything we're not. The kiss that follows is different from the desperate embraces in the cafe. This is slow, deliberate, full of intention. I can taste the promise on her lips, the commitment to try again, to be better this time. My hands slide up her back, fingers tangling in her hair, and she makes a soft sound against my mouth that sends heat straight through me. We're moving without conscious thought, backing toward the living room, her fingers working at the buttons of my shirt. Wait. I catch her hands, stilling them. Are you sure? Because once we cross this line again, I don't think I can pretend. It doesn't matter. Her eyes are bright and certain as she looks up at me. I'm sure. I've never been more sure of anything. Even knowing what it means, even knowing I can't just be your sometimes anymore, especially knowing that. She brings my hand to her lips, pressing a kiss to my palm. I don't want sometimes. I don't want part-time love or borrowed moments. I want all of it, James, the good and the bad and everything in between. The jealousy when you talk to other men, the way I need to know where you are, the fact that I might never completely trust you again, yes. She doesn't flinch from the harsh truth. All of it. The way I'll probably ask too many questions. The way I'll need reassurance when my insecurities get the better of me. Yes. The fact that this might not work. That we might destroy each other all over again. She cups my face in, her hands, her thumbs brushing across my cheekbones. Yes, even that. Because the alternative is spending the rest of my life wondering what we could have been if we'd been brave enough to try. And with that, the last of my resistance crumbles. Then let's be brave. The words transform everything. The air itself seems to shift, becoming softer, more forgiving. Maya's smile is radiant as she reaches for me again, and this time I don't stop her. Her fingers work the buttons of my shirt, with steady hands. No tremor of uncertainty now, only purpose. I want to know you again, she whispers against my throat, her lips tracing the line of my pulse. Every scar, every change. I want to learn who you became while we were apart. My shirt falls to the floor, and her hands map the planes of my chest. The slight changes 3 months have brought. More defined muscles from restless nights at the gym, A small scar on my shoulder from a kitchen mishap I'll tell her about later. You're different, she murmurs, but her voice holds wonder, not disappointment. Stronger, I agree, my hands finding the hem of her sweater. I had to be. She lifts her arms, letting me pull the soft cashmere over her head. Underneath, she's wearing a simple white tank top, nothing designed to seduce, and somehow that makes her more beautiful than all the elaborate lingerie she used to wear for others. This is how I want you, I tell her, my fingers tracing the delicate line of her collarbone. Simple. Real. Just Maya. Tears gather in her eyes, but they're good tears now, tears of relief and recognition. This is who I am with you. This is who I've always been when no one else was watching. We sink onto the couch together, the familiar piece of furniture where we used to spend lazy Sunday mornings reading separate books with our legs tangled together. She curls into my side like she belongs there, her head on my shoulder, her hand resting over my heart. Tell me something true, she says quietly. I kept your picture. The confession comes easily now, without shame. In my wallet. I told myself it was because I hadn't gotten around to removing it. But really, I needed to remember that what we had was real, even if it ended badly. She tilts her head to look at me, her eyes soft with understanding. I kept the letters you wrote me, the silly ones you'd leave on my coffee maker when you stayed over. I have a whole shoebox full of them. Really? Every single one. Even the one that just says, "You're beautiful when you sleep, and your coffee really is terrible." She laughs, the sound bright and genuine. I read them when I missed you most. I press a kiss to the top of her head, breathing in the scent of her shampoo. What now? Now we start over. She sits up, turning to face me fully. Not as if the past didn't happen, but as if it doesn't. Define us. You were James before you met me, and I was Maya before I made those choices. Maybe we can find those people again. I'd like that. I reach for her hands, intertwining our fingers. But I need you to understand something first. What? I forgive you. The words come from someplace deep and honest, and I see them land in her chest like a gift. Not because what you did doesn't matter, but because holding on to it was killing us both. I forgive you, and I forgive myself for walking away without fighting for us. She's crying openly now, her grip on my hands almost painful in its intensity. James, let me finish. I bring her hands to my lips, kissing each knuckle in turn. I love you. Not who you were, not who you might become, but who you are right now, sitting here, choosing this, choosing us. I love you too. Her voice breaks on the words. So much it scares me. Good. I pull her closer until she's straddling my lap, her forehead pressed against mine. Love should be a little scary. It should matter enough to terrify you. What if we fail again? Then we fail together. I cup her face in my hands, thumbs brushing away her tears. But Maya, I don't think we're going to fail. I think we're going to build something better this time. Something honest and real, and ours. She kisses me then, soft and sure. And I taste the salt of her tears, the sweetness of new beginnings, the bitter, bright flavor of hope. When we break apart, the sun is setting outside my windows, painting everything in shades of gold and amber. Stay, I whisper against her lips. Forever? Start with tonight. We'll figure out forever as we go. She laughs, bright and free, and settles back against my chest. I love the sound of that. Outside, the city continues its evening routine, thousands of people living their separate lives, making their own choices about love and risk and second chances. But inside my apartment, wrapped in Maya's arms with her heartbeat steady against mine, the world has narrowed to just this. her skin warm under my hands, her breath soft against my neck, her voice whispering promises into the gathering dark. Love you, James. This time I'm not going anywhere. Neither am I. And for the first time in 3 months, that promise feels like something we can keep.